right? So let's look at linear graphs, right? Suppose we have a set of x and y axis, which we refer to as our Cartesian plane, and you have a point with a value x and another value y. The two values together written in this format, where you have your parentheses as your brackets and you have the x comma y value, are referred to as the ordered pair, right? So if we are looking at this point here, you can see that the x value is -1 and the y value is +2. So therefore this point has an ordered pair of -1, 2, which reflects the x and the y values, right? So we use this Cartesian plane to actually just plot the ordered pairs that make up the graphs that we'll be looking at. In this case, we will be looking at linear graphs, right? As I said in the previous video, so we'll look at the different methods that are used to plot or either to get some values from the graphs, right? We'll look at the first one, which will be the table method. We'll look at the table method on plotting the graph of a given equation, right? So let's look this through an example, right? Suppose we are given a function of x, f of x, which is equal to y, is equal to 1/2 x minus 3. So that's the function or the governing equation for the graph, and you are told to plot the graph using the table method, right? We need to plot the graph using the table method. So the first thing that you need to do is to create a table, right, with 2 rows and multiple columns, right? Now you can then decide where you want the x values to start. Sometimes in an exam they would give you specific values where your x or your domain is, right? Maybe it's between, in this case it's between -3 and +3. So because x is the independent variable in our graph, so you can easily just start with the x values on your table. So you start with -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? That's the domain for your graph. Right now, to get the y values, remember we said x is the independent variable, therefore y is the dependent variables, because the values of y depend on what value of x you will substitute in the given equation. So y is dependent, right? So now to get the values of y, you can take your calculator and you punch in the values where you substitute in the given equation, you substitute the value of x, right? So let's get the first value of y, right? So we are given the equation that y is equal to 1/2 x minus 3, right? So you go to your calculator and you punch the value of y. To get the value of y, I know that I need to have 1/2 multiplied by the first value of x that I will substitute there would be -3, and I say minus 3, which is from that equation 1/2 x minus 3. Punch, it gives me -9/2, which in decimal form is -4,5, right? So you do the same again for the value. For the value of x is equal to 2, so you go to your equation and there at x you substitute that -2. So we come to our calculator. I hope you can see from my calculator. My lighting is not really that good, but then you go to your calculator and you substitute the -2 in the space of x, and you get a -4, right? -4. So you will continue like that. You continue like that until you get all the values of x. In the next video, I will show with the table with all the values of x.